Welcome back, beautiful souls. We are working this month on the vlog series, The Narcissist Declassified. I am this channel's host, Claudia Cauterucci. I'm a psychotherapist based out of Washington, D.C. I'm an author, and I'm the creator of the dynamic re-evolution curriculum, The Narcissist Declassified, and that's in honor of the launch of my next book, which is Healing from Narcissistic Abuse, that I co-wrote with Grace Being. And the subtitle is Rebuild from Relationship Trauma and Find Your Light Again. And listen, today, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Today's going to be a painful one. Remember that this week I'm covering 3 specific narcissistic personality structures that are really, really, really hard to recognize because they don't show up with the usual bells and whistles. And I'm trying to do the work so that you don't get trapped or caught, or even if you've already are in one of these relationships, you'll be able to become aware of it earlier rather than later. So let's continue. Today's vlog series is entitled The Narcissistic Friend, the most dangerous seduction. But first, can we have a little moment of celebration, please? Let's have a group hug, all of us, a global group hug, because I know people from all over the world are watching this. Thank you so much, because we are a global family, a global community. That's what we're here for. And I want to celebrate that this week, this channel had 2,300 more views because of you all. And my numbers are your numbers. And why do I say that? It's because we're all in this together to start little by little. All of us, we're joining and pushing this algorithm towards healing ourselves, healing the planet, moving away from the narcissistic paradigms that we've been living under as a humanity for thousands of years. So let's start something new. And that's what we're doing together. So yes, like, share, comment, subscribe. And we're going to keep celebrating because my numbers are your numbers. We're doing this together as a human family in our home on planet Earth, our home. There's some construction going on downstairs. I'm not sure you can hear it. In any case, I'm still going to do this vlog. And maybe what that construction is trying to remind us of is how intense this really is. Having a friend who's narcissistic and we don't know until later. So let's dive right in. Who is the narcissistic friend? This is a friend who actually does feel like you've known each other forever. Feels like a ride or die. It feels like you connect on so many levels because there is an attraction at first. Remember that we're a plug-in socket, the way that I describe it in the book, The Empath Leader. We are a match through our wounds. We match, like swipe left on friendship. Is it swipe left or swipe right? I don't know. I've never used those, but I think it's swipe left. In any case, swipe left until you realize that something is happening, that they're mimicking you, that they're actually, again, like in the last episode, they're extracting your identity, maybe your resources, your confidence. Maybe they even want to do a destiny swap. I don't know if any of you have heard about the destiny swap where they want the trajectory of your life. And they want the way your life has been. They want your family. They want your friends. They want what you do. So, like any other narcissist, there is a love bombing stage that you don't know about because when it's a friendship, you're so into it too. There's not the slight suspiciousness that we have or the nervousness we have with someone that we're dating, for example. When it's a friend, there's a lot of like me too moments. Like, me too, we're so alike. They're charming, they're warm, they're generous. They seem really loyal. And those are all the characteristics you want in a really, really good friend. And like in most cases, they'll be studying you. They'll want to know about every single detail of your past, about your wounds, about your boyfriends or girlfriends. They'll want to know how you're brilliant, how you do that, how you do this. They want to know your routines for sure. They'll attach themselves. They'll try to fill your needs and they'll try to be there acting like they're available for your wounds, the wounds of belonging, of connection, of attachment. Now, doesn't this feel amazing? It does. This isn't your fun, crazy friend or they're so wild friend. They're grooming. They're predatory and they're seductive. They want what you have, they want who you are, and they want what's going to become. Now, again, this might not resonate for many of you, but I know there's one in your midst or two in your midst that's going to be like, wow, that's happened to me. So let me give you some examples. This is who I'm thinking about when I'm describing this type of narcissistic personality. The woman who killed Selena. I use this as an example in another blog. I use this in an example of another vlog. Yolanda Saldivar. And Selena, if you don't know her, was a crossover from Latinos to Americans, Americans to Latinos. She was a big Tex-Mex, absolute, total package type of human being. She was gorgeous, vibrant, talented, confident, sexy, kind, warm, welcoming, everything we've described. Definitely an empath. If you watch the movie or you read about her, definitely an empath. Look her up. It's a beautiful story. Jennifer Lopez did the movie version. Saldivar presented herself as Selena's #1 fan, and then as her greatest ally and her most loyal friend. She completely embedded herself in Selena's world with that creepy stalker style. Through service and devotion, she got right in and started seducing the family, everyone around her, but especially Selena. And she became obsessed, possessed, possessive, entitled, and delusional. She was the type of friend who really, really believed that Selena's life belonged to her, that they were literally two peas in a pod. And if you go watch the movie, you can start to see that the suspicions and that there were other people around Selena starting to say something is off. You do get warnings from people who've known you for a very long time. A second good movie to watch, which I also mentioned, I was trying to think of movies, is The Talented Mr. Ripley. Jude Law and Matt Damon were in this movie. It's absolutely excellent. There's a newer version too that's so good. The actors are so good. I don't know the name of the latest version of the name of the actor who does it. But this is the idea. Ripley is a soft-spoken, eager, charming friend who comes from a pretty broken background and then slowly becomes addicted to the lifestyle, to the confidence, to the friendships, to the girlfriend, the privilege, the charisma that Dickie Greenleaf has. And that's the friends he sort of parasites to. I'm not sure if that's even a phrase, but you know what I mean. He doesn't just want to be close to them because it all starts by, I want to be close to you and I will give you everything. Because at first, it's extremely generous. It's extremely service oriented. I'll be here for you. I will help you. I will be the #1 person who helps you at night in the mornings. I will be there for you. At first, it starts with proximity, and then it ends up with complete absorption or consumerism of the person's life. He begins to dress like him, act like him, talk like him, and ultimately, the whole goal is to replace him. Remember we talked about it? This is a type of thievery that I've been describing. I want what you have. Then for those of you who like Shakespeare, I love Shakespeare, but this would be Iago. in Othello, when I'm working with clients and talking about their inner bully or the inner voice that keeps talking to you and tells you that you're horrible, I always say it's Iago from Othello. Iago is Othello's narcissistic friend who whispers in his ear. Literally, slithering whispers, stoking his wounds, manipulating all of his insecurities, just feeding him, and actually uses his mirage of loyalty as a weapon. Iago's such a perfect character. That's why Shakespeare is timeless. It's because we all know this person outside of us, but we also know how that becomes the person inside of us. Positions himself as the only one that truly gets you, while in the background orchestrating your downfall. Because really, what he's telling you is all the ways that you're super messed up, all the ways that you're undeserving, unworthy. So, what does he use? What are his weapons? They're all energetic: envy, sabotage, psychological warfare, and the illusion. I use a lot of words like this: mirage, veil of devotion. This is why it's hard to see. Now, if you're watching this whole series, you're going to start seeing repetitive themes, repetitive themes. This is why it is a perfect script. What happens is it just shows up in different ways, but actually the blueprint is very similar. And again, what are we talking about? Lying, cheating, and stealing. Inferior, superior paradigms. I feel inferior to you, so I've got to really crush you to feel superior to you. Why is it so hard to see? Because on the front end, they are incredibly warm. They're funny. They get you. You have the same sense of humor. You love the same music. Lots of me too, me too, me too experiences that are actually genuine, except for in their case, they're strategically placing these Me Too moments. It's not a spontaneous, like, what? Me too. I love the 80s, right? It's not like that. It's like, I study you. I know your wounds. I know your likes. I know your everything. This is for lovers as well. And for parents, it's like, I know you so well. That gets in. So they're incredibly helpful, so available, always available. The good friend, not. They come in strong. They come in loyal. They come in with the type of language, the words that you need and crave. Exactly. They come in soft spoken, low key. Yolanda Saldivar was soft spoken, talented Mr. Ripley. That's the thing, right? They don't come in as flamboyant and dominant. Oh, no, 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 no. It's gentle. No one gets you like I do. We're so alike. And so deep down, if you have wounds, if you haven't healed your loneliness, your abandonment fear, your neglect, your scarcity, your trauma bonding, your codependence, your addictions, this is going to be important later, your grief, this presence feels like the rescue, like a gift. This is the best friend you always dreamt of because they're camouflaged. They're devoted, they're loyal. They feel like family. They're down until you say no, until you pull back, until you catch it, until you start to see that what other folks are telling you, you're seeing it, and that they will love you as long as you're manageable. They've got to be dominant, and that sneaks up when it comes to friendships. Now, remember, this might take time for the family. In Selena, you can see it. The other folks around you might fall in love with them too. Might be like, welcome to the house, because there's grooming of your whole environment, not just of you. They bring the donuts. They're there until 8 o'clock helping clean up after the party. That's the friend. So everyone's like, wow, what a cool friend. Although they might not be as mesmerized as you because the love bombing is mostly towards you. So they'll start to catch a few of the cracks. So let's talk about the camouflage, how they hide in plain sight. Because this is the essence of this series, is how to recognize what often seems unrecognizable at first. or in the middle, or once you're super in. So write this down, PhD on Me journal, or the one you're going to get on Black Friday from my online store, which is coming out. Keep an eye out. Love bombing via friendship. The drinks are on them. They'll pick you up. Trips are on them. Gifts, loyalty, time. But there's a price to pay. Don't worry. They're paying up front, but you will emotionally owe them later. Number 2 is mirroring. You'll start to notice that they want to dress like you. They're using your language. They love your goals. They love your values. Remember, we talked about this. They want your growth. They want your success. You really start to realize, like, wait a minute, you're talking like me. You're acting like me. And some of the cracks there is that you start to see that with other people. And one of the distinctions I make is sometimes it's like people will tell you, hey, I love that you talk like this. I'm going to talk like this. They acknowledge it in some way. But it's when you see them behaving like that and not owning it. That's what's really interesting. So the other one is we're the same person type of language. We're so alike, and that feels very intimate. Now, I want to really underscore there are friends in my life, certainly, that do feel like that, and it's absolutely genuine. Remember that the difference is they're mimicking at that in order to take and take and take and take from you. And there's a little bit of sadistic quality to it, if not a lot of sadistic qualities to it, because it's strategic. It's not spontaneous. It's not soul-filled. It's the how do I keep you and control you and keep you near me so that I can take from you. That's always the backdrop. So I'm not dismissing that this type of intimacy, connectedness, spontaneity, deep love, deep soul connection doesn't happen between friends. It does. I've experienced it. It's when it's nefarious. It's when it's sadistic, and it's when it's strategic. And what's the word that connects all of these vlogs? Pervasive. When it's pervasive. Next thing that you want to note, please note this one, the playful degrading. This is when that sneaky superior inferior, where they're starting to move up above you. The teasing, the digs, the comments about your weight, your looks, your glasses, your outfits, the slight disrespectful comments, and it's all draped in, you're too sensitive, just relax. I was just joking. And again, this can happen in families, this can happen with your spouse. But today we're talking about the narcissistic friend who just does that. They dig at you. They use your wounds. And you feel it. You're like, oh, that was uncomfortable. But we let it slide because they're so devoted. Hey? Notice, the next thing you want to notice is that they position themselves as your rescuer. They are your life raft. They're the ones who will always save you. Poor you. They're going to come in. They're your helper. Now, this is especially important during addictions, during breakups, during financial stresses, or loneliness. I want you to think of people like Amy Winehouse and Whitney Houston and Britney Spears, about how these were definitely people that people just took from them until they were completely depleted. And in some cases, a lot of the people I'm talking about died. Let's look at where the seduction and the wound meet. This is the beginning of the healing conversation, and healing begins with an honest conversation. Write that down. All healing begins with an honest conversation between two people, with a therapist, in a 12-step group. Healing begins with an honest conversation. You want the friendship to be real. You want to be chosen. You want someone who finally sees your brilliance. You want the best friends you've always seen in the movies. What they see is something else entirely. Your brilliance is the resource they envy and they want. Your life is like a portal to this treasure chest they want access to, the keys to the store. And they position themselves as the one that you can trust to have the keys to the store. They'll study you, they'll memorize you, they envy you, and they mimic you. So through osmosis, they elevate themselves, right? All of a sudden, look at Selena, look at the movie Selena. All of a sudden, they're trusted not just by Selena, but by the group of people. Everyone admires them and respects them, but through osmosis, not through their own gifts. This, in some ways, classic narcissism, wanting the best because they envy the best because they feel so empty inside. They have to fill that. They have to find an energetic ATM, if not a financial one as well. So they consume, absorb, imitate, or replace, and ultimately destroy. What are some of the red flags to look for? Here we go, because this is what most people overlook. Remember, they're love bombing you, they're sweet to you, but they're mean to others. I always say, look on the sides. If you're starting to feel like something is off, too good to be true, I don't know, something feels slippery, something feels shady, look to the sides. Are they mean to others? If you're on the phone with them and someone approaches them and and their instinct is to be like rough and mean or yelly, take note. Because that's a spontaneous reaction. That's not strategic. Notice. Notice the cutting comments that can be camouflaged as concern. What are you wearing? Are you wearing that? Oh, you've gained a little weight, but it looks so good on you. I'm honest because I love you. It's funny. Why don't you have a man? Why haven't you gotten married? You're so pretty. The other one that I make a big deal of a lot, I actually done a whole podcast on this, is gossiping. Because chronic gossiping is a way to feel superior. It's also a way to stay very stagnant. People who gossip all the time are just unhappy in their own life. And so those are their sources of conversation. And if they gossip with you, they'll gossip about you. Listen, gossip is a part of humanity. It's a part of all of our lives. It is very pleasurable. It is very seductive to talk about others. It just is. I confess it. I know it. I know it in my skin. I pop up my ear too, all of that. But really, really, really chart it inside yourself and inside others. But in the case of the narcissist, they will gossip about their clients, about the people they just sat with, about the friend that just went to the bathroom. They'll gossip. I've had that experience where a group of friends, one goes to the bathroom, gossips to the entire group, and then gets quiet when the friend comes back. That is classic narcissist. And trust and believe that's going to happen to you or is already happening to you. They start copying you. Your clothes, hair, speech, mannerisms, jokes, insights. That's happened to me as well. They'll take your exact phrases and claim that they're theirs. It's okay to take people's phrases. Mel Robbins' Let Them, brilliant. Clarity is Kindness by Brene Brown, brilliant. But we give them credit. We don't act like it's ours. That's the difference. You might not have liked them at first. You might have been like, I might have not had the urge to choose you as my friend. They insisted, they pushed, they inserted themselves. They insisted on loyalty. That feels good. I'm going to do a whole section on this one. They enable your addictions. So I'm going to have a whole section on this one. But for now, just write that one down. They will enable your addictions because codependence, man, that is the gorilla glue. that will keep you right there if you are codependent through an addiction. They'll buy the drinks, they'll buy the drugs, they can handle the chaos because they're part of it, and they act like they're worried about you while really your whole life is crumbling down. It's in chaos. Things are going wrong that have never gone wrong in your life. It starts to happen. The cracks. You see them cheating, stealing, and lying in small ways that make you uncomfortable. There are creepy behaviors. They might be things they laugh at or reels they show you that you're like, what are you doing? Now, when you make a face like that, they immediately are, ooh, that didn't work. But you still want to have it in your head or inappropriate conversations that you don't like. But remember, you're getting love bombed. There's all sorts of other lubricating behaviors where you're letting those red flags slide. And then we've talked about the haze, the narcissistic haze. Something feels off. It feels shady. It feels inconsistent. It feels incongruent. It feels convenient. You might even feel like, are you reading my emails? You might have those feelings. Are you listening to my phone calls? Did you go through my drawers? You might feel that. Number 7, let's go to why you defend them, because you will defend them. It's because if you admit the truth, what you're really admitting is that you didn't see it. You feel really naive. You feel bamboozled. You're admitting that you ignored the signs, that you ignored your own intuition, that you actually allowed this to go too far, even though you should have stopped it back there at exit number 32. And now you're at exit number 69, you'd have to admit that you felt lonely and wounded and that you did want what they were giving. And the section on addictions is like, yeah, and that you're an addict too. You'd have to admit, I'm an addict too. And this was a really, really comfortable and convenient friendship. There's a lot of facing yourself you'd have to do. You're defending your own judgment and decision making. You defend them because it means that you'd be losing the fantasy bond. You might defend them because you defend the underdog. If you're an empath, you're going to defend people. You're going to defend their trauma. You're going to explain it. You're going to enable it. You're going to see that they're wounded and you're going to want to protect them. You're going to see the little child in them. This is the danger for the empath. And none of that is wrong or bad, by the way. What happens is that you're losing yourself. What happens is who really gets sacrificed is you. You might be bonded in the addiction. And that would mean that you have to face your own addiction and having to leave it. The narcissistic friend is masterful at creating the illusion of loyalty, mostly through gratitude, guilt, lots of guilt, obligation, shared secrets. In fact, this is one of the first things that cults do. They get your secrets first. When you're feeling trusting and safe, they get your secrets, and that's what they hold you with. In cults, this narcissistic best friend does the same thing. They have pictures of you, they have videos of you, they have your secrets that you shared with them on a night that you were both just laughing in your PJs, having a good time, looking like you're creating trust together. Favors, lots of favors have been exchanged. And yeah, trauma bonding, trauma bonding. You say, I had that childhood too, you have that childhood too. Okay, these are not exaggerations, my soul tribe. These are not exaggerations. This is not being dramatic. I've worked with this for so many years, and I have been someone who's attracted narcissists forever. So this is both from professional studying, but personal studying and healing out of it. Folks don't understand, especially with the ones that are hard to recognize, that these personality structures will go all the way to absorb your life. That's why it's parasitic and it's vampiric. Your identity, your opportunities, your relationships. And if you pull away, they will sabotage you, they will smear you. It's also a way they keep you, is that there's the threat that they will gossip about you to no end. They will share the videos, they will share the photos. They will say to everyone that you were the horrible abandoner. This is not drama. This is not exaggerated. We see it happening over and over and over. That's why it's so hard to divorce a narcissist. Same thing, it's so hard to break up with this type of narcissistic friend. So let's give a special part to the addiction bond, because this requires a little more, okay? If you're in a situation where you're bonded to someone through an addiction, you hear me talk about 12-step programs and all of that because it's really one of my side specialties is addictions. Not only because I come from a family where there's alcoholism and addictions, I've really studied it. I know it really well in my own skin. I've gone to 12-step groups and I adore them. And I'll do a whole vlog on why I adore them so much in terms of free therapy, free CBT, free shame shares that are always around. They really help people start their healing journey. It might not be where you end your healing journey, but it's an amazing place to start it. Anyway, let's talk about the addiction bond. This is a narcissistic friend's secret weapon, and it is vicious, vicious. So this narcissistic friend thrives where there's chaos, intensity, escape, and feeling high, getting high on anything. We're talking about addictions as substances, as alcohol for sure, nightlife, shopping, sex, lots of sex addiction here, drama, emotional highs, like fighting, really destructive fighting, and then coming back together. This is the perfect ecosystem for them to come into your life and bond through the addiction, and then they become indispensable. Here's how that dynamic works. I've seen it. I have been a victim of friends who are bonded through an addiction, and that when I've tried to speak to that elephant in the room or I've tried to pull someone back, boy, have I gotten smeared, gossiped about. I've had plates thrown at me, really, emotional, psychological plates thrown at me, because I tend to be the one who speaks to the elephant in the room. So this friend knows all the right people and all the right places. They know the VIP rooms. They know the bartenders. They know where to go for the bonus drink. They know how to get the best deal. They know how to do their research. They know the secret parties, the secret clubs, the dealers, the exclusive crowds. They know how to cut the line. They know the dangerous but thrilling environments. They'll go all out as long as you go all out with. They've done research that you never would. There are things that you would have never tried that you're trying with this friend. And this friend is saying, no big deal. Look at how exciting our underground life is. Because this does become a secret that unites you. It's a really strong secret. I've actually seen parents do it with their kids. They just start to groom their kids to be addicts with them. Because see, addicts need other addicts. Punto y aparte. Period, new paragraph. Addicts need other addicts. So they'll spot you. And if that's part of your weakness, they'll get right in. That's what they'll study the most. And they'll really say, this is ours. This is ours together. Now, you guys, this could be people who are overeating, who are having, the fourth pizza. Like this is addictions that really make you feel horrible about yourself afterwards over and over and over. But that best friend is there in the morning to do it all over again with. And then you have less and less friends out there because they won't do this with you. They won't partake. That's why in 12-step groups, they say you're as sick as your secrets, because this secret between you and this narcissistic friend who is more than willing for you to go down into the dungeons with them, because this is what becomes your actual intimacy bond. It's very strange. Listen, I am not just speaking to this. I teach it because I know it. I know it in my life. And remember, they hand you this bond on a silver platter because on some dark sadistic level, they need to feel superior to you. If your other friends leave you, if you're more isolated from your family, the better. Remember, they need to dominate. They need to feel superior. If your world starts to collapse, if you start losing your job and money because of the addiction, well, who's going to be right there with you? Right there for you when everyone else is saying, hey, what is happening? What is happening? This is a friend that says, man, we're in a bad mood today. Let's go use. Let's go eat. Let's go, I don't know, sex. Let's go do what we do. They bond with you when you're at your lowest, because you will start to notice that your other life is beginning to collapse. It goes hand in hand. You know how when you're healing and you're doing inner work, there's more and more opportunities. It's like this garden of opportunities starts to show up. Well, when you're bonded through addictions, it all starts to die. You get less and less and less opportunity, and less people believe in you. Well, and because you stop believing in yourself, right? Remember everything we've talked about. And when you're crashing, they're your caretaker. They'll be right there for you. And again, everyone, this could be a parent and this can be a spouse. But right now, we're talking about the best friend. They're holding your hair. They're holding your secrets. They're holding your trauma. They're holding your hangover. They're holding your bank account. And it feels like intimate, but it's actually possession. And at this point, you're super weak. It's hard to fight. There's also like future faking, like we're both going to stop this together. We're going to get better together. Let's hang out with the kids together. And this time we won't drink. They promise you a better future, especially when they start to see that you're pulling out. After this time, after this weekend, we're not going to do this anymore. That never comes. In the meantime, they're showing you pictures of your addiction. Because see, if you heal, if you get sober, if you stop this in your tracks, it breaks the contract between the two of you. They will watch your marriage deteriorate. They will watch you leave friends that you've had all your life. They will watch your health decline. They will watch that you're no longer goal-oriented, or that those dreams you had you don't talk about anymore. They will demonize the friends or the family members that say something is wrong. They will demonize them with a lot of data, by the way. Some of it will be fake and some of it will be studied. They're not going to pull you out of it because it means that they would have to face themselves. And we know that the narcissist never, ever, ever wants to face themselves. So the more broken you become, the more powerful they feel. And the more strings they've got, they will isolate you from your real friends, my loves. Your true best friend will say, hey, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, seeing this. You've never been like this before. And the narcissistic friend will say, oh, they're jealous. Everything, they'll project. They're controlling. They're manipulating you. They use you. They think they're better than you. So they'll do this reverse psychology. And this is the classic divide and conquer tactic. The same tactic that's used by parents and partners. When you try and pull away, bam, they pounce. They'll tease you. Oh, you're so boring. Look at you. What a nerd. Or you used to never be like this. Like, what's the big deal? Or just one last time. Or let's say you have sexual habits together. Look at them. This won't hurt us. They'll shame you. They'll say, oh, I guess you're too good for me now. They'll seduce you. You know, I'm the only one who understands you and understands this. I need you to have the phrases that will be used against you. And this, my love, is chemical bondage and psychological manipulation. They don't want sobriety. They don't want healing. They want access. You are part of their addiction. You are their supply. The addiction brokers that. The addiction becomes the shadow contract. I'll self destruct with you, or I'll watch you self destruct so that you will never leave me. I want that in capital letters, underline it, bold. It's the most pure form of trauma bonding. And like all shadow contracts, it has one purpose: it keeps you small, it keeps you dependent, and ultimately disconnected from your true self. And if this is happening to you right now, you watching this vlog, look at me. You can get out of this. I promise you. Millions of people, even in their 70s, have decided no more, no more. Now, it doesn't mean, remember in the last vlog, that there's not a price to pay. It is hard to go inside. It is hard to heal. It is hard to work through your trauma. But what is happening right now through this addiction and through this type of friendship is way harder. And we know exactly where it's going. It's a train that's crashing. So come on, if you're watching this vlog, listen to this, okay? So how to get away is always like the hardest part with this narcissist is to see it. Then how do I get away? Ready? Come on. PhD on me. Number 1, awareness, awareness, awareness is the first break in the contract. It's when you read the fine print, circle it, underline, decide you're going to look at the fine print of what keeps you together, including your own wounds. So you name the pattern, you crack the spell. The veil lifts. You see through the mirage, your own wound, your own shame, whatever is keeping you there, your own loneliness. Go find a 12-step group. They're all over the world, all over the world. Look it up right now, Google, because they're available and they speak the healing language. Therapy groups, support groups, all over the world. You cannot heal while you're still romanticizing this type of relationship. Expect, number two, expect the wounds to flare up. Leaving a narcissistic friend isn't like leaving a normal friend. It activates deep wounds, loneliness, abandonment, guilt, feeling like the bad guy, feeling like you're the abandoner when your whole life fear is to be abandoned. The fear of starting over. How about that one? Remember, just did a Claudism on trauma routines, how triggering it is sometimes to start over. But it's so beautiful too. It's your clean slate. It's the phoenix rising. Another wound will be you question your own judgment. You're going to question yourself. You're going to you're going to regret that so much time has passed by. Yes, yes. But this is the time to start. You're going to crave the intensity. You are. But there's lots of super amazing, healthy ways. I promise you, as a survivor myself, that you can feel those edges, that intensity, in so many other ways that just make your life better, that make you evolve. And there's lots of people doing this work. So you will feel a withdrawal, and it's neurochemical. We have withdrawals from humans because they give us dopamine hits, oxytocin. Lots of chemical reactions when someone leaves, and your system begins to detox from the adrenaline, the chaos, the validation. Remember, this isn't a sign that you're making a mistake. It's a sign that you're breaking the spell. There's this really amazing scene. I love talking about movies and books and mythology and Shakespeare. But in any case, there's a scene in the movie by Johnny Cash, the Johnny Cash movie with Reese Witherspoon, and talk about Phoenix. It's Joaquin Phoenix. So interesting. Look at how universe works. Look at how spirit works. I just said Phoenix Rising, and this movie is with Joaquin Phoenix, where as Johnny Cash, he goes into this time of detoxing from drugs and alcohol, and she's right there with him. She's intense. That's a really good movie, actually, in terms of observing someone in addictive bonds that has a life that feels equally as intense but sober. But anyway, there's this scene where he's just going through these waves and waves and waves of detoxing. And it is a breaking of the spell because all your trauma will come up, but as a way of leaving your body. So, yes, hello, let's exercise all of that stuff. You can leave now. Find groups that are getting sober. There's a lot of cool, intense, self-reflecting people who are doing this work, who are getting sober, who'd rather get up at 6 a.m. and work out, who'd rather watch podcasts, who'd rather discuss those, who'd rather cook together. There's a lot of men for you men. There's a lot of women. And remember, I always tell people, give it 3 groups. A lot of people go to their first 12-step meeting and they're like, oh, I'm not like that. I'm not that bad. Swallow that pride. Go for 3 groups because you're going to see a lot of people who will share, who will shame share. And that is beautiful bonding. Beautiful. The truth sets you free. True healing begins with an honest conversation. Go find people who are willing to have the honest conversations and who will shame share in safe places. Start there. That's automatically starts to erase that fine print of the shadow contract. Start pulling back. Go look at my cloudism moonwalk out. Pull back without announcing it because you do not want to be sabotaged by their revenge tactics, the conquer, the humiliation. Pull out softly while you're healing over here without announcing. So this does not require a confrontation. Confrontation makes it escalate and it distracts and it derails. So fewer details, less explanations, mark your boundary through behaviors, not words. It's like a calm fade as opposed to a dramatic exit, because once the narcissist sees that you are pulling away, it gets very, very dangerous. And so go watch these movies. Go watch these movies and you're going to see how the narcissist reacted. Selena's case, it was real. And in other people's cases too, it is vicious. The revenge for you pulling away is pretty intense and sadistic. So there's all sorts of ways to moonwalk out. Okay, go watch that cloudism. Find and build your real community. Don't do this alone, my loves. Don't do this alone. Replace with rituals, with groups, with people. Cry it out. Have your feelings. Use the 4 Ps. Use the 3 Ds. All of those are cloudisms. Go find them. Go to a therapist. Get a support group. There's no excuse in 2025. We have access through YouTube. You have these vlogs. Healing can be free. There are books. There is zero excuse anymore to not heal. Track where your intuition was right on. Track it. That felt off. I knew that felt shady. Write it down. Even if you didn't leave at the time. This is one of the things that I say consistently. That teaches you energetic literacy. Feel your body. Write it down. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. So you start to trust yourself again. Grieve. There is a grieving chapter, and this could be long, and this goes for anyone where you've been in a narcissistic dynamic with. If you watch the podcast, Grace and I talk about that. There's grieving. But what you grieve is the fantasy, not the friend. not the person. You grieve the mirage, the camouflage. You might not even know this person because they were presenting as a character. Keep saying that was a fantasy, because when I saw what was real, it was destroying me. And then lastly, loves, choose you every day, every day. Come back to you. And I'm going to help you, because this channel is here for this. This is the thing. I'm keeping a beat. I am keeping a beat on you choosing you. You getting a PhD on you. Study you. We're going to find so many beautiful things about you. Do it quietly, do it steadily, do it sacredly. But choosing yourself must become your new norm. Then one day you wake up and you realize, oh, I don't crave chaos. I don't crave it anymore. I don't crave that type of intensity. There's so many ways to live with intensity. I need intensity in my life. There's so many ways. And what happens is you're your own intensity. It's gorgeous. You know how to now be open-hearted, warm-hearted, generous, have all your gifts, but actually know when to close and open the door. Discernment. Remember DDD. Discover the data, discern, then decide who gets to come in, who gets to leave. Wow, this is a long vlog. It's a painful one, which is why I wanted to have a lot of detail. This stuff is hard, you guys. Even when I'm talking about it, I'm like, but can we do this together? Because really, really what we're doing is just traveling these tunnels together, because we need the light. Remember, Rebuild from Relationship Trauma and Find the Light Again is the name of the book. And so I am committed, devoted, insisting on the light, but I don't pretend that the darkness does not exist. We do not bypass all of this, even though it leaves us, at least it leaves me a little depleted, but in the best of ways. So like, comment, share. Let's get this algorithm. Help me push it. Let's do 3,000 more views, 3,000 more subscribers. But it's for us. It's for us. My numbers are your numbers. And remember, healing is activism. When you heal yourself, you're healing all the frequencies around you. We are healing the planet, and engagement is activism. The more the algorithm starts seeing, people like this type of content, let's do it. Come on, let's push that wave. All right? I'll see you in the next vlog where we talk about the narcissistic parent. Bye.